Hello and welcome to Manitowoc Public Library. It's great to see you. Today we have a special program called Lions and Tigers and Bats, oh my, with Mary Tooley and Art in a Suitcase. So she has some great art and science information for us on lots of animals. She knows lots about animals. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Tooley to tell us about lions and tigers and bats. Oh my.
Hello, everybody. I am Mary Tooley, the art and
Okay, Mary.
Okay, so I'm Mary Tooley, the art and suitcase lady, and very happy to be at the Manitowoc Public Library today. This program, which I have written for you, is all about some very special animals. I hope all of you are animal lovers. I hope you're ready to get smart about some special animals. And the animals today are lions and tigers and bats. Now, scientists who study animals are called, what do you think they're called? They are called zoologists. And these very smart people who study animals put animals in groups. Today's animals are all in the same animal group. And that group is called the mammal group. Lions, tigers, and bats are all mammals. There are, and I'm going to get the exact right number here, 6,495 different kinds, scientists would say species, of animals in the mammal group. But every single animal in the mammal group, whether they are really little or whether they're humongous, every mammal has certain things about their body that are the same, whether you're big or small. Now, check it out. You can do it with me. Every mammal has hair or fur someplace on their body. Some of your older kids might be thinking, whales are mammals. Where's their hair or fur? Well, kids, whales are mammals, and they do have some hair. It's very stiff hair. It's called whiskers. So you don't have to have lots of hair, but you will have a little bit of hair somewhere if you are a mammal. Mammals all have backbones. Check it out. Feel your back. And you will feel about a bunch of bumps down your back. That's your backbone made out of vertebrae. Another word for backbone is spine. So, okay, so we have fur or hair. We have a spine or a backbone. And then our breathing stuff, lungs. Take a deep breath. Taking deep breaths is good for you anyhow. Take a deep breath. Let it out. You can feel your lungs fill up with air. We breathe through our lungs if you're a mammal. And female, the girls, the ladies of the mammals have a very special feature. They can make milk in their body to feed their babies. And when a female mammal feeds her baby milk from her body, we say she is nursing. You probably heard that word. You nurse your baby. You give them milk from your body. And then there's one other thing about the mammal animals, and that is mammals are born live. They don't hatch out of eggs like birds. It's a live birth. Now, remember I told you there were 6,495 different kinds of mammals. Think of all those features and think in your head, quickly, in your head. It's so neat. You can think this stuff in your head. Heads are really neat. How many different mammals can you think of? They have to have those features: fur, hair, backbone, Moms nurse their babies, breathe with their lungs. How many can you think of? I bet you can think of lots. A camel is a mammal. A little tiny mouse is a mammal. A giant elephant is a mammal. Oh, and then there's some more mammals. They're all over the place. We're mammals. We have all those features. We are in the mammal group. But today, we are only focusing on 3 mammals. And we're going to get smart and learn all sorts of cool stuff about them. Our first one, oh, and by the way, kids, I never bring live animals to the library. Do you know why? Because I really, really love animals and wild animals. And we're talking about wild animals today. Wild animals belong in the wild. Only pets, like dogs and cats and hamsters and guinea pigs, are for being in your house and for petting. So we're going to make do with puppets and pictures today because the real animals belong in the wild. So here is our first mammal. Oh, here he is. And of course, even if you're the youngest person out there watching this, you know this is a lion. And you also know it's a dead lion. Now, almost every lion in the world today lives on the same continent. And I'm not talking about the animals in zoos. I'm only talking about animals in the wild. A lot of lions live in zoos, but their real home is in the wild in a big continent. A continent is nothing more than a big chunk of land on planet Earth, by the way. So I brought planet Earth along so you could see the continent where the lions live. And this big continent is called Africa. Some very smart 5th graders told me one time that you can always find Africa on the globe because it looks like a giant African elephant ear. And they're right. It does look like a big elephant ear. So lions live in Africa. By the way, just so you know, we live here in North America. So Africa is a long way away from where we are. Okay, so lions live below the desert in Africa, and they live in big open grasslands. We would call a grassland a prairie. In Africa, they call it a savanna, but that's all the same word for a place without hardly any trees that has loads of tall grasses. And that is the place where lions love to live in Africa, in big open spaces. By the way, kids, that is why grown-up lions do not have spots and stripes. Because if they had spots and stripes, they would stick out. They wouldn't be camouflaged. If you live in a leafy jungle and it's all spotty with light, then spots camouflage you. But they don't have them because they don't need them living in the grasslands. They blend in with those yellowish dry grasses. Lions are endangered. That is a sad thing. There are only 23,000 lions left in the wild. And I know, kids, that to many of you, 23,000 sounds like a huge number. But in the whole wide world, that's not very many lions left. Lions are big cats. You might have a cat at your house. It would be a domestic or a tame cat. Lions are classified as big cats. They can't purr. Your little tame cat can purr. A lion can't purr, but they can make a noise that your little kitty cat can't make. Think a minute. What kind of noise, especially if your kitty cat, pretend this is a tame cat. If your kitty cat is sitting on your lap and your kitty cat is happy and you're petting your kitty cat and they start making a noise called a purr, this lion can't purr, but it can make a huge noise. You're right, it's a roar. they can make a giant roar. Sometime when you're outside and you won't scare your mom or whoever's at your house with you, you can go outside and you can make the biggest roar you can make, and you can feel like a lion. They use their roars to communicate or to talk to each other, to warn each other of things. So lions can roar. Also, there's something else about them that's very different from other cats. Lions like other lions. They want to live in big groups. The groups can be as few as 15. They can be as many as 40 lions all living together. And there's a special name that those animal scientists, remember their name? Those zoologists? The zoologists call a big group of lions a pride. It will be several guy lions, dad lions, lots of mom lions, and of course, all the baby lions, which are called cubs. Now I'm going to ask you a question and think of the answer in your head. And if you get the answer wrong, you don't have to feel badly, because not even the smartest people in the world know all the answers to all the questions. That's why we have libraries and books. Here's the question, and it's a tough one. If you were in a big lion family, a pride, who do you think would go out and do the hunting for that pride? Do you think it would be the dad lions who would go out and hunt the meat? Because lions eat meat. They're not nibbling on grass. They are meat eaters. So who do you think is hunting? The dad lions, or do you think it's the mom lions who are going out to hunt? Think about it. If you're thinking in your head, mom, you're right. Mom, you're not doing most of the hunting there, boy. 85 or 90%, that's almost 100%. That's a big number, 85, 90%. Of all the meat that's eaten by the lion family is hunted by the moms, the females, the ladies. They work in a group and they bring down animals so that all the lions can eat. So I said that lions were carnivores. Carnivores are meat eaters. They eat only meat, and they have to eat meat to stay healthy. And the moms bring the meat home. And when they eat a lot of meat. This guy would eat 16 pounds of meat in a day if the moms had a lucky day and brought home the dinner. That's like you sitting down and eating 64 quarter pounders. That is a lot of meat, but they can do it. The thing is, though, kids, those moms aren't always successful. So there are some days when they don't bring anything home at all, and then all the lions have to wait until the girls have a successful hunt. Now, as I said before, even the youngest person who's watching our animal program today knows that this is a guy lion. They're so easy to tell because they have all this big, long, beautiful fur called a mane all around their head. And when an animal has a very distinguishing a feature, the guy looks very different from the way the female or the girl looks. Scientists say that that is dimorphic. Dimorphic, a cool word. The dad looks way different than the mom. Now I want you to use your best brains. And I know you can figure out an answer to this question, because actually there are quite a few answers that are right. Can you think of another animal, not a lion, where you look at the animal and you know right away, oh, that's the girl, that's the mom, or, oh yeah, that's the dad? Think. The dad and the mom are dimorphic. They look really different from each other. Got some answers? I really wish you were here with me, but I bet you're shouting out answers. How about the bird called a cardinal? You always know when the cardinal's in your yard When it's dad, he is bright red. And right now, boy, they are so pretty against the white snow. And you say, oh my goodness, there's the dad. And then usually the dads come first. And then along comes mom. She's not bright red. She's sort of a rosy, brownish, and maybe even, very pale red, which is sort of a pinkish. But she's not bright red. And you can tell her apart. But if blue jays come into your yard, and they're all hopping around, they're not dimorphic. You can't tell the girl blue jays from the boy blue jays. Oh, another bird that's very dimorphic. They've ever been to the zoo, and that guy peacock opens up his tail. Oh, it's a guy, and the girl doesn't have that. She can't do that. So other animals are dimorphic, but with the lions, definitely dimorphic, can tell the boys from the girls. Now, lions, as I said, are the only big cats when they're grown up who don't have spots or stripes of some kind. The only big cats that don't have stripes or spots. A lot of little cats do, but the only ones in the big cats that are solid. But when the lions are cubs, they do have a few spots, and they lose their spots after they grow up. So here is a big dad lion, and his little cub is playing with his tail. He's lost some of his spots, and that dad lion is being very patient. The moms get together and take care of all the babies. They all work together. I mean, if you're a lion cub and you're getting into trouble, it's not just your mom who comes and gets you out of trouble. It's any mom in the pride will help that baby. The dads also guard the pride so enemy lions don't come from other prides, and maybe they'd want to hurt you, the baby lions in your pride, and the dad defends the moms and the babies. And here are the mom lions, definitely different, no manes. They're the hunters, and they are the ones who are taking care of those cubs. Most of their time is spent either hunting or keeping the cubs out of trouble and finding food for the cubs. Okay, now this might surprise you, and this would be an interesting thing to remember. Lions are called the king of the beasts, but they're not the biggest cats in the world. The biggest cats in the world are tigers, and not all tigers. There are different kinds of tigers. This particular tiger is the biggest tiger in the world. And it is playing in snow, just like you kids love to play in snow. This is a Siberian tiger. It loves cold weather. These cats are, especially the dad Siberian tiger, is bigger than any lion in the world. Absolutely, they are the biggest cats in the world now. And they are very, very, very endangered. Tigers in the wild at this time. Now this, I hope you can remember that other number. There were 23,000 lions. There are only 3,900. That's 3,900. 3,900 tigers left in the wild in the whole wide world. That doesn't mean they're just endangered, kids. That means they are very, 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 very endangered. And the good news is there are quite a few people working very, very hard to try to save habitat and try to save the tigers that we have left. Tigers are very different from lions in many ways. Tigers want to live alone. A male tiger only comes together with a female when they are mating, and then that means they're want to make a baby. And then the father leaves and the mother goes off alone. They don't work together in a pride like the lions. Tigers hunt alone. They don't work together like the female lions work together to get the meat. The tigers hunt alone, and they are nocturnal. Nocturnal means night. They come out at night and they do their hunting. And they are carnivores. All cats, even your little tame cat at home, is a carnivore. Please do not give your little cat at home lots of veggies because they really they can't be healthy eating veggies. Okay, tigers hunt at night. They hunt alone. Tigers, here is my tiger face. People who study tigers have noticed something. No two tigers have the same pattern of stripes on their heads or their bodies. So if you work in a zoo, if you grow up to be a zoo worker, and there are many jobs at zoos, or if you actually turn into an animal scientist, a zoologist, you will tell tigers apart, and we can do it too. You just have to observe, that means look hard. You will never see two patterns of stripes on tigers that are exactly the same. We have something on our body too that is not the same as any other person. Your fingerprints. Your fingerprints are different than mine and anyone else's. They are what we call unique, totally different. And that's the way tigers' stripes are. Tigers, like most cats, as I said, they are meat eaters. And when they eat their meat, their teeth are huge. Now, your little kitty cat, your tame cat, has the same pattern of teeth, two big canine teeth and then little teeth in between. The tiger's teeth are 10 times bigger than your biggest tooth, 10 times longer. So they are mighty powerful teeth so that those tigers can eat their meat. Tigers live, the 3,900 that are left, a very small number, they all live in Asia. Asia is a huge continent. It is huge. And if I take my hand, I'm on the back of the world from us. I am covering up pretty much all of Asia. So it pretty much takes up all this side of the earth. There aren't many tigers left, but they live from the coldest parts up in the top of Asia all the way down to these islands down here, which are very warm because they're near the center of the earth, the equator. So they can live in many different habitats, but they need a lot of space, and they're running out of space to roam in. Now, one of the things that I like about tigers, absolutely the best, and I love all animals. If we're animal lovers, kids, we love them all. But we can have special favorites. And tigers are a special favorite of mine. And I actually know someone who has a sanctuary for big cats. That means if a zoo or an animal farm has some animals they don't want anymore, she takes these old and these sick animals in. And she's a wonderful person. It's called Valley of the Kings. And I have gone out and seen her tigers many times. And so I know this is absolutely true. Tigers, unlike most cats, love water. Oh, do they love water. I've seen my friend have a big tank of water. It's called an animal stock tank, and she fills it up with water. And I've seen one of her tigers sit in it like you would sit in a swimming pool, and the tiger had a great big ball, and it would put its ball down to the bottom of the water and then let its paws go so the ball would fly out of the air and the tiger would get all splashed. They loved it. Don't try that with your pet cats. It will hate it. It will hate it. But tigers love water, and here's a tiger swimming away and having a ball. Okay, now, a little more to learn. And now things really change because lions and tigers, of course, are both cats, mammals, but now we've got a mammal that's way different than a lion or a tiger. This animal needs love. And it's a bat. Bats are definitely mammals. We're mammals, bats are mammals. Bats are found everywhere on planet Earth, our wonderful planet Earth, except the place where there's hardly anything that lives there year-round except bugs. And that's the bottom of the Earth. The continent on the bottom of the Earth is called Antarctica. Penguins, by the way, kids, don't live on Antarctica. They just come there to lay their eggs, because if you tried to lay your eggs in the ocean, the eggs would float away. Penguins live in an ocean. They just come up here to lay the eggs. So not very many animals live here, too cold. But other than Antarctica, all over the world, I can spin the whole globe around, you will find bats. Bats, there are 1,400 different kinds of bats. Some of them are really teensy tiny. Some of them are very, very big. Bats are the only mammals that can truly fly. Now, I know that some of you are thinking in your heads, she's wrong, there are flying squirrels. Well, kids, yes, there are flying squirrels, but they don't truly fly. What they do is they jump off of something and they glide on the airwaves. And gliding and flying are different, because a flying squirrel can't say, I'm going to fly 3 blocks down, but a bat can. Okay, now I brought some bats, puppets, of course, because wild animals belong in the wild. And these lovely bats are all asleep. That's because bats are nocturnal. They are awake at night and they go to sleep during the day. So here's a real hard question for you, and don't feel the least bit badly if you can't answer it. A lot of big people can't answer this question. If bats are nocturnal, what are we? We're awake during the day and we go to sleep at night. We're diurnal. So I know that lots of you knew the word nocturnal. Learn the word diurnal, because they go together. So the nocturnal bats wake up at night and they truly fly around. Now, I've got something for you to try, but you're going to need a little space to do it. When a bat flies, their wings, the bones in their wings are like the bones in our fingers. In fact, scientists call them big hand bats and small hand bats. And the thumb is real small. Our thumbs are bigger, but the finger bones are real long. And then between the fingers is filled in with skin. So if you stand, or you can sit too, but you got to have room to do this. You can pretend you're flying like a bat. Of course, you won't really fly because, we're too heavy and we just don't have it. But you can make the same motion. If you're a high school kid watching this and you're in the swim team and you know how to fly butterfly breaststroke, you already know how to make the bat motion because it's the same as the swimming stroke. Put your thumbs up like a bat. Stretch your fingers until it, ooh, wow. Pretend there's skin between your fingers. Now you're going to make a big letter O. Like that. Bring your hands up over your head. Your thumbs are together. Now, as hard as you can, and pretend there's skin between those fingers, whoosh back. That's how a bat flies, but they do it real fast. So you're making like giant letter O's like that with your arms. And you can actually feel that air whoosh back, even with your fingers without the skin in between. So that's how they fly. Now, bats, come on, we're going to get these bats out. I hate waking them up. I really do. But fortunately, they're puppets. If they were real bats, I would never wake them up because they need to stay asleep. But they're puppets. Okay, wake up, bat. Now, do you see their little thumbs? Oops. There comes the free-tail bat. They have little thumbs there. Okay, and they whoosh and they fly like that. They fly with their hand wings. When they want to rest, they hang upside down and wrap up their wings. So let's take a look at these. These are little bats. This is a little brown bat. We have these in Wisconsin. And you can see their thumbs. You can see their finger bones, nice long finger bones there. See how that looks like that? Okay. Now, if a bat lives in Asia, on the other side of the world, then the bats can get very big. The big bats in Asia are often called flying foxes. And when I say their wings can get big, let's see if I can find the thumbs here. Thumbs up, got the thumbs. This is the wingspan of a flying fox. They can be this big. No problem. Actually, I knew somebody once who lived in Indonesia, and she'd go out in her yard at night, and she could watch these bats flying around, and they're absolutely harmless to people, kids. Absolutely harmless. In fact, they're very helpful. They eat fruit. They eat fruit off the trees, and when you eat something, it comes out the other end eventually, and the seeds get distributed. That means the seeds fall on the ground, and they help make new trees grow. So they're very, very helpful. The big, giant, flying fox bats that live in Asia. They're not all that big, kids, but this is the biggest they can be. This is the actual size that I cut out these pretend bat wings. These little bats, and by the way, you're going to make a bat puppet. Bats really aren't true black. They look black because they fly around at night and you see them as silhouettes, and silhouettes are black. They're all different shades of brown, and some are even white. I'll show you a picture in a minute, and some of them even have spots. Notice the size of the ears. They have big ears because even though they can see, they do something called echolocation. They send out sounds with their mouth or their nose, and the sound bounces off something and comes into their nice ears, and they navigate like, for the older kids, it's like sonar on a ship. You bounce off a sound, and that lets you know the location that you're at. But bats can see. They just choose to do the echolocation or navigating with their ears. This is a bat called the Mexican free-tail bat. It's because its little tail hangs free, so it's called a free-tail bat. Nice brown bat. You have a brown crayon to make your art project with a bat, but if you want to be creative and get out your own rusty brown crayon, that would be okay too. And I'd just like to show you one more thing, and then I'll show you some bat pictures to get you inspired to make a bat marionette. Oh, I love this one. My bat puppets are big, kids. Our bats in Wisconsin weigh less than a penny, most of them. They are small. They are small. I cut out a piece of cardboard, 1 square foot. If this were the ceiling on a cave, 300 bats would fit on here. 300 bats could all crowd into 1 square foot, if it's one of the little bats that you find in North America. Obviously, the flying foxes in Asia are not going to fit on 1 square foot, but you could have figured that out all by yourselves. Okay, now just to get you inspired to make bats, I brought some of my favorite bat pictures. Here's a bat out in the desert. It's sticking its nose in a cactus, and it's going to drink the nectar in the cactus. So some bats eat bugs, and they can eat up to like 600 in an hour. So if you've got bats in your yard, it can eat 600 mosquitoes an hour, and that's pretty darn good. Those are mosquitoes that aren't going to be biting you. So bats are very, very helpful to people, and they also eat insects that are harmful to farmers' crops. We need bats on planet Earth. We don't play with them, but we don't play with any wild animals. Okay, but you don't have to be afraid of them. Okay, now these are some of my faves. Wow. The Honduran white bats. They're little itty-bitty, teeny-tiny bats, and they live in leaves. They all nestle up in leaves in the rainforests. When you're making your bat, you've got a rectangle of cardboard. You may make the ears really, really big if you want to. They all have ears that stick up on the top of their heads, and some of those ears get to be giant size. Or one last thing, second last thing. After you draw your bat, you might want to turn your bat upside down, and you can even take a paper plate and fold the wings over your bat if you want to make your marionette a sleeping bat. And then you can put the strings on and maybe hang them from the ceiling of your room, and you'd have a nice little bat to keep you company at night. That might be a good thing to do. And if you shouldn't get bored because the world is too filled with wonderful things. But if you didn't know what to do, you could make about 30 more bats to join your bat. And then your room would be a bat cave. Now that would be really cool. But of course, ask your parents. I mean, don't go climbing up in the ceiling or anything, but it would really be cool to make a bat cave in your own room. That would be really cool. Okay, and last, this is really cool because I just found this picture last week. A new bat has been found, and it was found in the western part of Africa. Remember, I told you there are bats all over the world. It's from a country called Guinea in Africa on the Atlantic coast of Africa, and it is bright orange. So it's as orange as an orangutan. They describe it here in the science section of the newspaper. So the newest bat that's been found, a wonderful orange bat. Well, thank you so much. I loved talking to you about animals, one of my very favorite things in the world, animals. Hope you have fun making your marionette. And I hope you come around for a few more programs too, because next month we're doing fish. But they're a very special kind of fish. Why don't you tell them what the very special fish is that we're going to feature next month?
Yes, thank you for coming, Mary. What fabulous information, from gigantic mammals to teeny tiny little mammals that we have here in Wisconsin even. Yeah, and don't forget, we have books on all of these things too. We have books on lions and tigers and bats and those special fish that we'll be talking about next month. If you were one of the lucky recipients of our grab and go bags with the bat marionette in it, you can make your own marionette puppet, a bat puppet. Next month, we'll have a special bag ready to go with that special kind of.
What that special fish is.
What would be the most special?
Oh, it's the biggest fish in the world.
Biggest fish, maybe very dangerous
But
fish.
it could be small.
No,
And the
different
teeth are lots of teeth.
How about? Do you know baby shark? Mama shark? Yeah, we're going to be talking about sharks next month. Yay! Sharks, all sharks. So that will be so fabulous.
All kinds of sharks.
All kinds of sharks. Don't forget to join us next month. And sign up ahead of time on manitowoc.library.org. You're looking for the fab bags, the family activity bags, with the project to make a shark before Mary comes next month. So thank you for joining us today, Mary. Join us next month for sharks. And don't forget, we can get you books on lions and tigers and bats and sharks and plants and animals and absolutely anything you want. So give us a call at 686-3010 or check out manitowoclibrary.org. See you next month with Mary.